The sea breeze tousled Luna Sanders' hair as she stepped into the flamboyant lobby of the Riviera Grand Resort. Her entrance was less about style and more about timing, as she barely escaped the downpour outside. The dampness clung to her clothes, her simple blouse and jeans sticking to her skin, indicative of a commute that had been anything but ordinary. Her wet sneakers squeaked against the polished marble floors, drawing disapproving glances from the poised and polished staff scattered throughout the lobby. The resort exuded opulence. Gleaming chandeliers cast a warm light over lush, expensive furnishings, creating an atmosphere of affluence and exclusivity. As Luna moved hesitantly across the room, the staff, stark in their designer uniforms, exchanged glances, silently appraising her with a mixture of curiosity and judgment. She couldn't miss the whispers trailing her, but she walked forward with purpose, her expression giving nothing away. Derek, the resort's manager, was stationed prominently at the reception desk. Noticing Luna's approach, he raised an eyebrow, his posture shifting to one of condescension. His crisp, tailor-made suit sharply contrasted with her rumpled attire. "Hey, you," he called out, his voice dripping with unwarranted authority. "We need those bags at the executive suites, pronto. We don't pay you to stand around looking lost." The directive was issued with a smirk, his gaze scanning Luna's attire with poorly disguised disdain. Luna met his eyes, her face betraying no hint of the satisfaction bubbling beneath the surface. "Of course, I'll take care of it," she replied smoothly, giving a polite nod before moving towards the elevators. However, her destination was not the guest rooms Derek had pointed out. Instead, she continued through the staff corridors, onto her true purpose within the resort. Luna glided down the staff hallway, her damp sneakers soft against the beige carpet, as she reflected on the irony of the situation. It wasn't rare for her to face skepticism upon first impressions. Her ability to remain unfazed was one of her strongest assets. She knew Derek's dismissive attitude was soon to undergo a profound change. She approached the frosted glass door labeled HR Office, where a flickering light above signaled the resort's rare inefficiencies. Upon entering, she was immediately greeted by the warm, welcoming smile of Ms. Harper, the regional director, who stood up from behind her desk. "Luna. We've been eagerly anticipating your arrival," Ms. Harper said, extending a hand warmly. Her tailored suit and clean lines embodied authority and understated style far superior to any fancied-up facade. "Apologies for the unkempt look," Luna replied with a chuckle, accepting her handshake. "I've had quite the adventure getting here." "Not to worry, everyone knows Seattle weather can be unpredictable," Ms. Harper responded, her eyes kind and astute. "We're just thrilled to finally have you on board. Shall we recap the day?" They proceeded to go over the strategic plans Luna had already extensively worked on remotely. The resort had plateaued under previous management, and Luna's appointment was to infuse new life and direction into its operations. Ms. Harper handed Luna a portfolio containing her official keys and operational reports. As they sat exchanging thoughts, the sense of responsibility settled comfortably onto Luna's shoulders, an invigorating challenge she welcomed with open arms. Meanwhile, across the resort, Derek lounged in the staff break room, leaning casually against the counter as he regaled his colleagues with exaggerated tales about his earlier encounter. "You should have seen her," he gloated, a self-satisfied grin plastered on his face. "She looked like she had rolled straight out of a washing machine. I sent her off to handle the guest luggage. It'll do her some good to learn the ropes the hard way." His companions chuckled, despite some faint undercurrents of discomfort. Derek, notorious for his arrogance, walked a fine line between commanding respect and inciting irritation among his subordinates. Today, however, his chest swelled with the certainty of his standing. Still in the HR office, Luna allowed herself a moment of reflection, flipping through detailed reports, acquainting herself with the faces and figures she would soon lead. Her eyes occasionally darted to the framed documents on the wall, accolades for the resort's outstanding service, plaques she was determined to see renewed under her tenure. Within the hour, Luna emerged from the HR office, stepping into the hallway where staff members moved with frenetic energy, each engrossed in their duties. She proceeded to a conference room, where a preliminary meeting had been arranged. The staff was anxious, speculating about this new chapter for the Riviera Grand Resort under its new management. By the time they reached the conference room, several staff members, dressed in their finest, had begun to gather inside, chatting noisily about the anticipated introductions. The air was filled with a mixture of excitement and apprehension, setting the stage for Luna's pivotal entry. Miss Harper took to the podium, her presence commanding instant attention. "If I may have your focus, please," she began, her voice carrying across the room with practiced ease. "Today marks a significant transition for the Riviera Grand Resort, and it is my utmost pleasure to introduce our new owner and managing director, Luna Sanders." Luna stepped forward, the murmur of voices abruptly silenced as she came into view. Her casual attire stood in stark contrast with the formality of the occasion, yet her posture exuded assurance and elegance, instantly commanding respect. As she crossed the room to take her place at the center, a wave of recognition spread among the more observant staff who had witnessed her earlier interaction with Derek. Confusion flickered across a few faces, but it was quickly replaced by intrigue. The chatter was now replaced with an aura of expectancy, the air prickling with anticipation. Luna met their gazes directly, her expression calm and composed. Derek, unknowingly absent from the proceedings, was still unaware of the seismic shift occurring within the resort's hierarchy. Instead, he continued about his day in blissful ignorance, confident in the dynamics he wrongfully believed he controlled. In the conference room, Luna settled into a chair, some staff members trading discreet glances, each wondering how this new leadership would impact their careers. Her internal emotions were a tapestry of hope, determination, and just a tinge of underlying amusement about the earlier misunderstanding, not that she would allow such sentiments to color her professional demeanor. "My journey to join all of you today has been interesting," Luna began with a touch of humor in her voice. "Though I assure you, the reports of my demise by storm are somewhat exaggerated." The light laughter from the staff eased the tension, signaling their readiness to embrace the change. Luna took this as her cue, diving into a concise discussion about her objectives, emphasizing the importance of teamwork, respect, and resilience. As meeting came to a close, Luna felt the undeniable pulse of potential coalesce around her, a shared eagerness for the heights they would strive for together. It was in these interactions, perfused with both vulnerability and assurance, that she knew she would carve out her unique legacy at the Riviera Grand Resort. Yet, there remained the matter of Derek, who would soon find that his hollow boasting was destined for an embarrassing correction. And for Luna, the forthcoming revelation would mark the beginning of a transformative journey not just for herself, but for every soul within the esteemed resort. The crisp morning sun filtered through the blinds in the grand conference room, casting neat lines of light across the elongated table surrounded by eager staff members awaiting the new leadership's formal introduction. Conversations peppered the air, anticipation mingling with uncertainty as those gathered pondered the future under the new management. "Have you heard about this Luna Sanders?" whispered Stephen, a longtime concierge, to Carla, his fellow concierge. "I mean, why the sudden change in leadership? Some say she's a real game changer." Carla nodded, her eyes scanning the room curiously. "I've heard she's brought resorts in Europe back from the brink. She might really turn things around here," she replied, letting her voice drop to a confidential tone. "But remember the girl Derek was talking about this morning? Wonder what happened to her." Unbeknownst to them, the girl in question was about to become the center of the day's pivotal announcement. Derek, absent from the conversation, was summoned to the director's office just a few floors above, oblivious that his morning's careless assumption would soon clash with an undeniable truth. Inside the now crowded conference room, Miss Harper took her position beside the podium once more, calling the room to order. Her presence commanded immediate silence, her gaze steady as she began. Today's address marks a new era for the Riviera Grand Resort, an era led by someone whose vision aligns with excellence and innovation. And with that cue, the double doors swung open, the room's collective gaze turning to see Luna Sanders walking in with a composed stride that caught the ambient light gloriously, transforming her informal attire with sheer presence. The room shifted visibly from a casual gathering into organized respect, chairs scraping softly as staff members sat upright, eyes fixed intently on Luna. A cascade of whispers rippled through the ranks, recognition dawning from those who witnessed her earlier, while others scrambled to reconcile Derek's disparagement with this poised figure now before them. Luna took her place confidently, settling at the head of the room. Her eyes swept the gathering as she took a moment to absorb the dynamics, noting the ranges of curiosity, skepticism, and eventual admiration settling in. For many, the realization struck, a recognition rooted not only in her professional repute but the authenticity she exuded. Meanwhile, Derek ascended in the elevator, still mapping out his day in his mind. The ride upward seemed no different than usual, a symbolic ascent matching what he still believed was his unshakable position at the resort. As he was ushered into the HR office moments later, he froze, taken aback to find Luna seated comfortably behind the desk he had purported to control. She met his bewildered stare with a calm, measured look that pierced through any pretense of authority he might have clung to. A compound of disbelief and discomfort etched itself onto Derek's face. The earlier arrogance drained from his expression as he stood transfixed, the weight of what he had misconstrued that morning settling heavily upon him. The silence, thick with unspoken realization, schooled itself into words as Derek finally found his voice. I didn't realize, he stammered, words folding into themselves beneath Luna's unflinching gaze. Misunderstandings happen, Luna replied with unerring cordiality, though none of its authority was lost. Her poised composure made the prospect of continued excuses irrelevant, as it became clear she would not dwell on his indiscretion. Meanwhile, back in the conference room, Ms. Harper introduced Luna with a succinct recount of her transformative achievements worldwide, detailing how Luna's strategic insights had spearheaded the turnaround of several high-profile resorts under similar circumstances. As staff absorbed this, the atmosphere irrevocably shifted. Whispered doubts were replaced by palpable respect and interest, as the conversation steered towards optimism under new leadership. Through the next few minutes, Ms. Harper and Luna outlined broader strategies, ensuring that practical, grounded efforts would align with aspirational targets. Outside, Derek's reprimand in HR was equally centered on accountability and opportunity for growth. Luna articulated her expectations candidly, describing her ethos of humility, hard work, and mutual respect, values starkly contrasted against his earlier approach. The exchange, though professional, was unmistakably a corrective lens through which Derek was finally seeing his role. Once back with his colleagues, Derek returned not with his previous bravado but a more reserved acknowledgement of the dramatic awakening underway. His interactions henceforth were nuanced with careful reflection, his prior mockery now transformed into professional courtesy under Luna's corrective encounter. Back in the conference room, Luna concluded the meeting with a firm yet inspiring note, emphasizing, "Each of you plays a vital role in shaping the resort's future. Success is a shared journey, your dedication is invaluable." The room buzzed with renewed energy as the meeting concluded, employees dispersing with determined strides. Luna's tenure had begun not with regularity but with an indelible lesson in humility, learned firsthand by Derek and vicariously by all who had spectated the day's events. Each step Luna took through the now familiar halls of the Riviera Grand Resort was met with nods of respect from her personnel. Her presence unspoken yet pivotal, underlining a simple truth: a leader is defined not by the airs they profess but by the respect they command through integrity and action. The whisper of waves crashing against the nearby shore seemed to underscore the breadth of responsibility now resting upon Luna's shoulders. As the staff began to reorient themselves to their tasks, Luna took a moment to walk through the corridors, absorbing the subtle transformation underway. Her steps were measured and assured, each one resonating with the resolve growing within her. The grand conference room, which had played host to her introduction, was now empty. Echoes of the recent meeting lingered in the air, a fresh beginning unfolding not only for her but for everyone committed to the journey forward. As Luna gazed out the window, the resort sprawled out below her, an intricate tapestry of potential she was eager to cultivate. In the aftermath of her formal introduction, the ethos Luna conveyed with her presence alone had begun permeating the resort's culture. Her reputation, built on a foundation of authentic leadership and impressive results, preceded her. The tales of her previous successes enticed the staff's curiosity, stories of teams inspired to innovate and adapt under her guidance, driving substantial growth in challenging environments. These accomplishments, once mere whispers in industry circles, took form in reports Miss Harper reiterated during Luna's introduction. Her transformative work across the high-stakes landscapes of hospitality, from rejuvenating failing European retreats to reinvigorating a major Asian chain, making proximity to excellence a shared standard. Challenged by diverse management scenery in her past roles, Luna developed an approach characterized by keen insight and an invaluable instinct for identifying untapped potential. Her ability to inspire collaboration while asserting strategic oversight had etched her name as a trendsetter. But it was Luna's unwavering nurturance of humility and dedication, emblazoned upon her leadership style, that truly set her apart. As Luna remained engaged with her newfound team, clues about her simplicity and straightforwardness began to seep through the ranks. Stories emerged about her commitment to hands-on involvement, how she had once attended a midnight staff meeting in workout clothes just off the plane, pitching in wherever required. This habit of practical engagement now made perfect context given her damp arrival the previous morning, where she intentionally crafted an entry disassociated from grandeur. Her choice that day, storm-driven yet deliberate, spoke volumes about her leadership philosophy. To gauge a workplace's authentic pulse, she preferred initial spontaneity, a candid portrait of the dynamics she aimed to nurture. Her journey was punctuated not just by roles and accomplishments but by values carved from real-world encounters, values she now sought to embed collectively within the Riviera Grand Resort. Her influence streamed through conversations swept onto shared breaks. It filled pauses in her one-to-one meetings, saturating every exchange with encouragement and earnest expectation. Despite the overwhelming responsibilities, Luna approached her role with a clarity born from knowing people over perceptions mattered most. She sculpted her mornings into moments of reflection, engaging with staff anew each day, understanding their aspirations while articulating her expansive vision for the resort concretely. In their midst, Derek found himself navigating unfamiliar terrain. His journey toward accountability was now inexorably linked to the insights Luna shared during their stern exchange. Stripped of former trappings, his place within the team was redefined, not through punitive actions, but through understanding. Luna's nuanced handling of his attitude shift, a lesson in humility never contrived but entirely warranted, imbibed new opportunities for Derek, uncovering strengths beyond flamboyance previously ignored. The training prescribed for him, aimed at interweaving his past experiences with Luna's empathetic guidance, began to foster improvement rather than resentment. While Derek acclimatized to these new expectations, the broader team absorbed Luna's leadership like parched earth welcoming rain. The informal conversations led to an effortless bond initiated over casual lunches she prioritized even amidst hectic schedules. It cultivated honest interactions crucial for breaking down barriers and strengthening trust, something her esteemed credentials pacified but didn't savor. Toward the closing of day, Luna convened a smaller gathering of department heads. Within this focused assembly, she encouraged brainstorming, exploring creative expansions, and addressing pressing operational issues up front. Her approach was one underscored by collaboration, making suggestions noted and discussed sincerely without hierarchical confines. Reactions among leaders occasionally spawned hesitance, the breadth of Luna's freedom in unshackling established protocols invited caution as much as admiration. But Luna, ever attuned, modeled her discourse patiently and pragmatically. "We'll chart our course as a collective," she reassured, "for I believe each voice here holds a key to heights stronger than competing voices of external intrigue. We'll remain attuned to masterful trends, but our authentic ingenuity will nurture a legacy unmistakably ours." With sincerity and encouragement, she paved the way for a proactive approach connecting heart and enterprise. Her words resonated within ears eager not just for lofty ambitions, but feasible pathways, the type of leadership firmly based on an understanding nurtured through genuine dedication validated by sustained results. The day finally seeped into evening, as Luna retired to her office, casting artful rays of orange and purple sunlight across the walls in the waning moments of twilight. Luna stood silently, granting herself reflection without judgment, a moment to cherish the newfound vitality imbued within the Riviera Grand Resort. Tomorrow would yield yet more chances for collaboration, for shared endeavors, an opportunity Luna welcomed wholeheartedly because at the heart of successful enterprises lay earnest leaders, and in earnest endeavors, the seeds of flourishing futures were sown. The days that followed Luna's introduction were filled with a buzzing energy that seemed to weave through the walls of the Riviera Grand Resort. Staff moved with a renewed sense of purpose and direction, inspired by the changes unfolding with Luna at the helm. Derek, now undergoing the leadership training recommended by Luna, found himself surprisingly invigorated. The course, which emphasized empathy, team building, and effective communication, challenged his old habits. Slowly but surely, he began appreciating the nuanced complexities of teamwork, a revelation that reshaped his professional identity. Luna's influence permeated all levels of the resort's operations. Her decision to work closely with department heads paid off in dividends, as innovative ideas flourished under her collaborative leadership. As departments adjusted to Luna's proactive style, the resort visibly transformed into a polished, efficient network pulsing with creativity and unity. Discussions over strategic enhancements, both in guest experiences and internal processes, fueled an undercurrent of excitement among the staff. Luna implemented custom-tailored changes, mindful to balance the resort's uniqueness while embracing modern comforts. Her strategic prowess blossomed at team meetings, where laughter mingled freely with productive dialogue. Under Luna's leadership, guests experienced the impact of her refined vision. Reviews highlighted not only the exceptional services but also an intangible warmth emanating from every facet of the resort. It was as if Luna's personality, an amalgamation of professionalism and genuine care, was etched into the bricks and mortar. One morning, Luna decided to shadow the concierge team as they prepared for the day. It was an opportunity for her to connect personally with those handling the daily realities of guest interactions. She approached Stephen and Carla, who greeted her with enthusiasm now seasoned by respect. "Good morning, Luna," Stephen said, adjusting his uniform tie, a gesture indicative of the pride he took in his work. "We're thrilled to have you with us today." Luna smiled warmly. "Thank you, Stephen. I'm excited to be part of your team today." Her words, though simple, cemented her inclusivity, the magnetic power of her leadership style. Meanwhile, Derek was penning an update report for Luna as part of his new responsibilities. It required reflecting on his learning journey, a task once daunting but now approached with sincerity. Gone were his rebellious defenses, they'd been replaced with an eagerness to contribute meaningfully to the resort's flourishing narrative. Drawing upon leadership training and Luna's patient mentorship, he articulated initiatives aimed at team cohesion, lens sharpened towards mutual respect as Luna had been modeling. Luna's influence, cultivated through initial tension and realigned purpose, now granted Derek newfound clarity in leadership. Later that afternoon, Luna emerged from the concierge desk, invigorated by her morning observations. Prepping to address her entire team, she rehearsed inwardly, determined to convey her message with authenticity and enthusiasm. At the prearranged hour, the elegantly decorated ballroom became yet again a gathering of the resort staff. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation as Luna took the stage. Her authority was palpable, tempered by a warmth that inspired equal parts admiration and loyalty. "Thank you all for your dedication and hard work these last few weeks," Luna began, her voice ringing clear and confident. "The changes we've implemented together have created a ripple effect throughout our resort. I'm beyond proud of the progress we've achieved in such a short time." The room echoed with appreciative applause, staff members exchanging encouraging glances at Luna's acknowledgement of their efforts. "I want to highlight a few key areas where our innovative spirit has shone brightly," Luna continued. "Each of you has contributed to our guests' unforgettable experiences. Your commitment does not go unnoticed." Her address reached Derek, resonating deep within the part of him now reinvigorated. He saw in Luna's eyes the transformative honesty she championed and realized such insights were his turn to absorb. "As we advance," Luna articulated, "I wish for each of you to see yourselves as architects of our collective journey. Together, we'll overthrow boundaries and bridge dreams into reality. I pledge my support to each step we take. Let's continue this exciting journey." Encouraging applause filled the ballroom. Luna's conviction united them all in shared purpose. As the meeting dispersed into vibrant discussions, Derek approached Luna, prompted by a subdued resilience newfound under her watchful eye. "Luna," Derek began, his demeanor sincere and reformed, "I want to extend my gratitude for your patience and guidance. Your leadership changed my perspective, and for that, I am truly thankful." His words, though understated, bore the genuine reflection of one willing to pursue redemption, an avenue Luna recognized as credible growth. "Thank you, Derek," Luna replied, eyes warm with acknowledgement, yet firm with purpose. "A culture of mutual respect is one we build together. Let's continue demonstrating a leadership rooted in understanding." A brief but poignant exchange, it symbolized much more within the resort's unfolding narrative. It signified redemption achievable, growth pursued, and the unwavering lessons pouring forth from Luna's everyday presence. With the sun setting over the horizon, its golden light bathing the resort in warmth, Luna wandered through the marble corridors. Her heart swelled with satisfaction, a quiet determination illuminating her path. She felt the essence of her journey unfurl beneath each step, every encounter, a tapestry woven with intent and aspiration. The Riviera Grand Resort, once defined by opulence alone, now thrived under its dynamic leadership. Luna's impact transcended its initial transformation, charting course instead for a future as promising as the morning sun. And as Luna moved seamlessly among her staff, her presence now immediately recognized and respected, she knew the destiny of the Riviera Grand Resort lay not only with her vigilance but eloquent truth residing within its people, the true heart of its cherished legacy.